first blood going to Jerix.
That was almost so close to being a kill for IG, but they just managed to make that happen. As Hot 6, I mean, MP landed stun after stun. They didn't even break the salve on him, but this is going to have some repercussions as, yeah, he already instantly loses the sentry mid. They know now that he doesn't have a ward there, and MP's going to struggle because he used most of his mana just to be able to survive.
Oh, Fisher block. Oh, not quite a full block out there, unfortunately. MVP Hot 6, they're going to be challenged here by IG. IG not wanting to let the Bloodseeker just free farm, but at the same time, this will be hurting Verning's farm a bit. Why do you think that is? Simply because the Spirit Breaker is in such a favorable position now in this 1-versus-1?
I think they're incredibly stable, but he's not your superstar caliber player, whereas Ferrari absolutely is. He's the type of player that you can stake a game on, and I want to see if MP can keep up.
So far, he's doing all right. 8-2 in CS compared to the 8-1 from Ferrari. Of course, it's going to be getting more and more difficult as the SF gets those higher level of raises and just starts spamming out the lane. Plus, he is Radiant side SF, which is obviously a bigger advantage than normal, being able to have quick access to those two neutral camps. They are going to rotate now their tri-lane back to bottom. They've already put the Phantom Lancer down there, and it seems like they're going to move our Spirit Breaker around a little bit. Why do you think they started off? Did they just go into that aggro, like sort of aggro dual lane situation, just realize, okay, that's not going to be good enough, and now that we've gotten the Spirit Breaker to level 2 or 3, he can actually put some pressure on mid?
They probably either anticipated dual lanes or an aggro tri-lane and thought that their dual lane would just be more successful. The Earthshaker plus Zeus in the off lane would probably not do that well against the Spirit Breaker, because there's almost no kill possibility, and at bottom,
there's not even a question. Sunbee, he's got to be dead here. They pop the mango just to be able to have that extra land. Sunbee is trying to make the jukes here. Oh, what? So good, but it's just not enough. He's surrounded by 3 heroes. No matter what kind of jukes you move there, it's just never going to be enough. So Sunbee does fall 1-1 now as IG tie up the kill score.
And now this is going to make it so much easier for the laning phase. Luo's almost level 4, and this is going to help so much because the Lina actually is going to struggle to survive against these ganks, but
they forced into a TP here. Oh, that ice path just shy of stopping that TP.
I think even if they had stopped that TP, it was unlikely that they kill it. But still, they're forcing everybody out of that top lane, and this is just going to mean that Forev is going to get absolute free farm.
And the Fisher, oh, nice! Fisher actually pushes him back, but the Light Strike Array is just not there in time from MP. Still, though, keeping in touch. That SF, CS-wise, 21-2, the SF. Meanwhile, Lina 19-4. So really, this middle lane, MP is keeping in step with Ferrari quite nicely.
And like I said last game, it's not necessary for you to keep in step with the Shadow Fiend and farm. You know that the Shadow Fiend is naturally just going to out-CS you. You can't get bothered by that. Instead, what you have to focus on is what you do stronger in the mid game. But MP, he's not going to be able to take this rune as Luo denies it.
Picking up that bounty rune, and the SF, oh dear, actually got the regeneration rune. So this is really where you're going to see that SF step ahead of the Lina. He's got a triple stack hard camp waiting for him. The medium camp is there as well for him to access, plus the regeneration rune at hand. Going to be very tough. MVP Hot 6, meanwhile, they're going to have a harder time dealing with this Spirit Breaker as an offlaner until the Bloodseeker is level 6. Now, once he has that, our Spirit Breaker is going to be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, right now, Heen is only level 2, and he's having a hard time harassing him, but here we go, as they are going to make the attempt. They do have boots on Forev, and we have seen how strong the Bloodseeker is with this thirst. It doesn't look like he's interested in stopping either. He's chasing this down.
Going, Luo actually charges. Forev is going to be forced back there. Of course, they're always willing to make those kind of dives, right? Because the Bloodseeker left alone in lane is easily going to be able to heal back up thanks to Blood Rage. So there's not like you use any resources there. Maybe you missed 1 or 2 CS, but well worth it to kick the Spirit Breaker out of lane.
And that's the strength of the Bloodseeker, because you're so afraid of him diving on you, and the rest of the lanes have to really pay attention to their HP, how much health. Burning actually has a bottle as a result. You've got a Dazzle, you've got Chuan. I mean, if you take a look at his regen, he has Salve and 2 Tangos left over, and it looks like they do want to make a move on mid, as MP is level 6, but he shouldn't spot this coming as from bot. Luo's going to come in.
Oh, the Fisher is going to be able to catch both beautifully. The Light Strike Array is still going to miss, but they're going to turn onto Luo anyway. MP doesn't quite have a Laguna Blade mana, unfortunately. So the Spirit Breaker will be able to get out, but still a very nice defensive reaction from MVP Hot 6.
Oh, Jerix is still chasing this. He knows that he has a stun mana soon.
Forever comes in. MP trying to land that Light Strike Array. Does get it, but the Spirit Breaker is just still too tanky. And MP realizes that, so he backs up. The Dragon Slave by itself was still not going to be enough. Now they overly rotated perhaps. MVP Hot 6 brought Forev into this lane. They did keep everyone alive, and that is nice. But it's still Forev who's forced to give up that top lane farm, and now no one's there farming it up. Does pick up his level 6 on the Bloodseeker though, so that is perhaps something that can facilitate an early kill on IG.
Yeah, and impressively, he's still way ahead of the pack when it comes to CS. Almost at 40 in just 6 minutes in the game, even with that rotation, but we've seen it time and time again. The Shadow Fiend is just going to snowball. He's got such a huge stack waiting for him after this. Juan doesn't even have to devote that many resources to it, because he can simply just take the mid lane when the Shadow Fiend decides to go for that stack. And so that's the function that the Radiant side gives you, is that you can give up your mid, give it to one of the supports who decided to stack for you, give them a level or two, and at the same time, just skyrocket and farm over the enemy mid.
Uh-oh, Sunbeam going for the TP out. The charge isn't going to be there in time. He gets away. Nice play from Sunbeam. Just really top-notch awareness there. Our Zeus is about to pick up his level 6, and you compare that to the enemy offlaner, Spirit Breaker only sitting at level 4.5. So despite the fact that I would say our Zeus should have a harder time in lane against the spamming of the Phantom Lancer and the potential kill power there, our Zeus is actually still ahead of the Spirit Breaker. So very nicely done there. As he comes back in the lane with that level 6, they're going to have some serious nuking power. Now, MVP Hot 6, they know this is a Radiant side SF. They know he's going to get very far ahead of any of the cores on their side. What do you do to stop the SF? Do you go for the early smoke and try and gank him while he's clearing stacks?
You can't really. It's a little bit hard with the type of lineup that MVP Hot 6 have. They don't have any massive ultimates right now that is going to impact the fight. For example, if you have the Tidehunter Ravage or something along those lines, or even the Gyrocopter call down, then you can simply just go into the jungle, contest with the smoke, and you'll be able to win the fight just fine. But it looks like they're actually just going to go for it, as they should be able to invade. But the problem is they might just run into Chuan first, and this is not the target they want. Is he's actually going to spot this. He drops the ward at the same time, and
oh, they pop the ultimate, but a little bit too late. Jarex has already thrown out his Fissure. They're going to start running for Faith, but IG realize what's happening. They quickly back themselves up. And a missed opportunity once again for MVP Hot 6.
And this is the problem. The smoke was a good idea, but the vision that they had was limited. Jarex just had to shoot that blind, and this might still work though, as Ferrari's being a little bit too greedy. He does have an invis rune, and that's exactly why Rubik's going to TP, but it's not even going to matter.
And he just throws out a blind light strike array, but very clearly was not going to land there. Great play from Ferrari, forces out an ultimate, and our Spirit Breaker actually perhaps gets enough time in this top lane to get his level 6, which is so critical for a Spirit Breaker ganking-wise. Kill potential is just off the roof once he's able to pick up that ultimate. Still, though, he's got to beware. Oh, nice pickup there. Jarex goes down to Ferrari, who now is going to be very rapidly closing in on that mech. And this is what's really concerning for me, as you have both the Dazzle as well as the early mech coming in from IG. The sustain is going to be there to keep these heroes rather healthy, and the Bloodseeker's just not going to feel that kind of snowball that you usually see as the heroes get lower and lower. He becomes more powerful. He gets one, picks up another. He usually just rolls through the whole entire fight after that one kill, but its biggest concern is, can you actually get that first kill, especially with all these heals coming into play?
I think MVP actually have a really good team lineup for being able to fight around the mech. You can pretty much spam the Earthshaker Fissure, 1 or 2 Arc Lightnings, and force the mech early. The problem with them, though, is that they have so many, their main core is a melee hero, and so without a BKB, he's pretty much going to have to run in point blank, and at top, they're going to pop the ultimate. They know that they're at top, and I think this is going to signal MVP Hot 6 to run away.
Start backing up. Smokes pops. Ferrari just starts cleaning through. They're actually going to TP up with MP. Jarex is going to spend his time actually farming up the middle lane, trying to finish up that Soul Ring and perhaps Tranquil Boots. Burning, in the meantime, though, has been having a lovely time at bottom. He's 49 and 11, still trying to catch up to the Bloodseeker, of course, with that early laning phase that he had. Probably didn't pick up too much CS there.
It's really significant right now that Ferrari's left alone in this top tower. It's going to be hard for them to be able to contest this. Ferrari can probably just double spam out the raise, but the tower is so low. That is the benefit of having a Jakiro. They actually cast the Blood Rage on him, and I think we saw them do this earlier in the qualifier, but it was with the Pugna. But this time the Jakiro is so much safer, as he just has more HP and more to work with.
It was incredibly dangerous putting the Pugna on the front line with Blood Rage on him. He's already one of the squishiest heroes as is, so you would oftentimes see him just immediately get blown up. Seems to be a much better idea with this Jakiro. safer push all around. Plus, it's still a support hero, right? So even if you are, in a way, committing to a tower push, if IG want to blow everything they have for a support like that, MVP Hot 6 are probably going to be very happy with that.
Yeah, right now, MVP Hot 6 are going to be really happy about the fact that their Zeus offlane is level 8. He hasn't really had time to run around anywhere, but he's just done a good job of soaking experience bottom. He knows when Luo is off the map, and he's just been playing incredibly safe. He's just doing a really good job of keeping up in levels, but the problem right now that MVP Hot 6 are going to run into is that the Shadow Fiend does have a fully completed mech, and it's going to be hard for them to get into straight 5v5 engagements without a little bit more in items. Like, the Bloodseeker is probably going to go for the SNY, but until he gets that full component, it's going to be hard for him to just run in and charge. Maybe even pre-BKB it's going to be difficult for him, as they do have enough lockdown for him.
3-man smoke from MVP Hot 6. We'll see if they find anybody, but in the meantime, I want to talk about that. Why do you think we don't see a Bloodseeker go for the Hand of Midas, which is quite popular on core Bloodseekers? Is the tempo of this game perhaps just too fast?
I just think that Forev recognizes that the Bloodseeker isn't going to be able to go late game against the Phantom Lancer. I've seen it time and time again. Yes, you have the Bloodright, which is an AoE, but you don't want to just build into items that fight against the Phantom Lancer because it's a losing fight. He burns too much mana, he can disengage too quickly. You don't want to go toe-to-toe, and so it's better to just simply build for the mid-game and run at the Phantom Lancer so he just can't build up an item lead.
I like this setup. MVP Hot 6, they didn't actually find a kill as they smoked up through the enemy jungle, but they did take away the rune vision from IG in that bottom area. Plus, they also got some very aggressive vision up, and they now are surrounding Burning. Go see if there's any TPs here. The Silence is going to be able to land on Burning, already leading things up. They're just going to pop him real quick. Heen is kind of stuck here, but that's okay. None of IG are actually rotating over. In fact, they're still trying to go for that middle tier 1 tower push. But Jerix is here now with the Fissure to be able to intercept, perhaps push these heroes back.